Hey everyone, it's Danielle here with another wrap-up video. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I read in August. I'm going to preface this with saying that I got into a little bit of a reading slump because I don't know what happened, but what I think happened is I read so much in July and then August hit and I started thinking about back to school and I started prepping for that, and then just for some reason I just fixated on going back to school and prepping for that. So I think those things combined and I just wasn't enjoying, but well, I did enjoy the stuff that I read, but it took me a while, like a solid few weeks there, to find a book that I enjoyed. So it happens, we all get into reading slumps and it's okay. So I'm going to talk to you about the books that I finished, but I'm also filming this a couple of days before August ends. So I'm also going to be mentioning some books that I'm currently reading that I'm hoping I will finish by the end of August or maybe into the first week of September, just to let you know what I'm currently reading as well. So let's get into it. So the first book that I finished as an audiobook, and that is Exit Strategy by Kelley Armstrong. And this story follows Nadia Stafford, a former cop turned contract killer who only takes jobs against dangerous criminals who slip through the justice system. When a series of murders mimic her professional methods, she's drawn into a deadly hunt. Kelley Armstrong is an author that has been highly, highly recommended to me by both Trisha and Ashley, and I think I unfortunately started with Finding Mr. Right, which is very different for Kelley Armstrong. That's very different from what she usually writes, but I really wanted to get into the typical Kelley Armstrong books that they both have been raving about. So I was really excited as we were coming back from the cottage when Trisha said, hey, let's throw on an audiobook on our way home, and it was Exit Strategy by Kelley Armstrong. So I really enjoyed this book. I thought all the twists and turns were really cool, and how I couldn't really figure out who it was and what happened. I really liked Nadia's relationship with Jack. I thought that was really cool. And I did like the characters. I really like when books introduce several different characters, but it's easy to kind of navigate who everybody is and what their role is as you continue reading in the book. I think sometimes when there tends to be a lot of characters, it gets a bit confusing, but yeah, I enjoyed being able to navigate who everybody was very easily. I think my favorite part of it was definitely when they were at the opera, the show. It was in a theater. I think it was an opera. The show, and the killer was there, and it was like a very tense moment. I thought that was really, really interesting. I do know it's part of the Nadia Stafford series. I'm really interested in reading book 2, so hopefully I get to that in September. I read this book or listened to it, from July 27th to August 2nd. So I actually started it in July and then finished it in August. And I ended up rating it a 4-star. So the reason I rated it a 4-star was because, like I said, I did enjoy most of the plot. However, I did feel like parts kind of dragged on a little bit. And it was good. It was really good, and it kept my attention for most of it, but some parts it kind of lost me there a little bit. So that was the reason why I would give it a 4-star. So my next book that I started in August was our book club book of the month, Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. I listened to this as an audiobook as well, so not a whole lot of physical copies happening here. And this book is set in a quaint, magical town. It follows Emmy, who returns home for a spellcasting tournament that determines her family's standing in the magical community. Along the way, she teams up with fellow witches for a mix of revenge, self-discovery, and maybe a bit of romance under the backdrop of cozy witchcraft. So this was actually Trisha's pick. She, like we've been doing, our book club months when it's whoever's birthday it is, gets to pick the book. So like I picked for May, Trisha picked for August, Ashley will pick for September. And so when she first told us about this book, I had no idea what it was going to be about. I had no idea who the author was. I had never read a book by her before. But I knew that Trisha was very much into the series because when her and I went shopping at the book outlet, she purchased the fourth or the fifth book, I think, in the series. And I was like, ooh, what's that cover? It's In Charm's Way. I remember the title. In Charm's Way. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is that cover? And she was like, this is part of the series for our book club book of the month for August. So I was really excited to read it because I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but the cover art is super interesting to me. It's super captivating. I really liked the ride that this book took us on. I was originally at the start of the book when the three girls get together. You think that they're going to get revenge on this guy. And it gave me very much The Other Woman. If you have seen The Other Woman with, oh my gosh, Cameron Diaz, I think it's Cameron Diaz. We'll put the movie poster up here. The Other Woman, it's three women that come together to basically catch a guy having an affair and then get their revenge on him. So that's what I thought it was going to be, especially in the start of the book when they're introducing all of the characters. Then, again, at the beginning when they were introducing the characters and Emmy's coming back to this town, I was like, oh, it's like a returning story. And then it turned into something completely different. Then it was like the Witchcraft Olympics, which I thought was really interesting, and it got more into like the ancestry and the families that have been a part of this town and have created this town. And then it went even further into Emmy and Talia's relationship. And I thought that was really interesting. So I really liked how the book kind of took us in a lot of different directions. It took us in quite a few different areas, different storylines, different tropes, different plots. It was really interesting. I really liked the magic system. I personally think Talia's magic was the coolest. Being able to basically walk with spirits, I thought that was really, really cool. And I thought it was great. I really liked the ending. I started this August 1st and I finished it today, so August 25th. So it took me a little bit longer, but I really liked it and I ended up rating it a 4.75. So the next book that I finished was Love and Other Killers by Brynne Weaver. Now, Brynne Weaver is a name you have heard from me many times, as the Ruinous Love trilogy is one of my favorite series of all time. Brynne Weaver is one of my favorite authors of all time. So overall, if you don't know the Ruinous Love trilogy and you haven't been watching our videos and you're not sure what it is, basically the series is a dark romance that unfolds around people drawn together under intense circumstances. As attraction sparks between them, secrets and danger hang over every interaction, making their bond as risky as it is intoxicating. If you have not read the Ruinous Love trilogy, please skip over my review of Love and Other Killers. So skip to this time, please and thank you, because you cannot listen to this unless you've read the trilogy. So, Love and Other Killers is a short story in the same world as the Ruinous Love trilogy. It occurs after the events of the third book, Scythe and Sparrow. So, at the end of the book, we read that all three couples, Rowan and Sloane, Lachlan and Lark, and, Rose and Finn. Wow, I lost their names there for a second. They're all at this cabin, and they are celebrating Rose and Finn's engagement. So, in Scythe and Sparrow, they're in this cabin, and basically it says that they do this competition. All three couples are involved, and they're hunting down this serial killer guy. Love and Other Killers goes into much more detail about the hunt for that serial killer guy. It's from Sloane and Rowan's perspective, but the other characters are still there. I really, really liked it. I flew through it in a day. I read it on August 16th, flew through it in a day. I found it really, really interesting. It, again, was a very short story, but I would have liked it to be a little bit longer, just because I love these characters so much. I love their banter. I love the way Brynne Weaver writes relationships and, like, comedic things having to do with these couples, but then, like, the serious and intenseness is, like, really, really cool. So, I really liked that. I found it super good, super easy to fly through. And yeah, there's not much to say just because it is so short. It's only 61 pages. And I thought it was really, really good. I'm repeating myself. I'm so sorry. But yeah, there's honestly, it's basically they go after this serial killer guy and they kill him. And all three couples work together to kill him. Oh, and Barbara's in it. I love Barbara. So yeah, so I would recommend it if you have read, especially if you have read the Ruinous Love trilogy. I would recommend Love and Other Killers. It just came out. I also read it digitally on my Kindle. Alright, and now for the books that I have not finished but have started. Might finish them in August, might not. The first one that I have started is Semi-Well Adjusted by Alyson Stoner. This is her memoir. It just came out, I think, like a week ago. I'm listening to it as an audiobook. I'm really liking it. She narrates it, and I'm really liking hearing the story of her life and in Hollywood and the trials and tribulations of Hollywood. If you watched mine and Ashley's Buddy Read, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, very similar vibes. So again, Alyson Stoner is someone that I grew up with, and so I'm excited to continue this and read the rest of the book. I have also started The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is a very popular series, and I know that people either love it or hate it. And so I'm excited. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I am not very far in. I'm like 15% of the way through. I am very interested in the series and very interested in the plot. But I cannot formulate a full opinion right now because I'm not that far in. The other book that I have started is We Know You Remember by Tove Alsterdai. This is a story of a man whose father is murdered. He comes back to the town where, like, 15 years prior, he was arrested for murder himself. So everybody thinks he did it. It's told from his perspective and also the perspective of the detective, who was a mere 9 years old when that guy committed the murder of a local girl. So It's interesting. I don't think it was originally in English and it has been translated, so it's a bit difficult to read. I don't think I'm going to finish it in August. Also, the Poppy War, I don't think I'll finish in August. But I'm interested to keep going. So, we shall see. Anyway, that's all for my August wrap-up. So, unfortunately, I only managed to finish, well, that looks like 6. 3 books in August, so not bad for being very focused on school. Not as great as last month, but it's okay. We don't need to compare it to other months. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this wrap-up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!